If she was still here, this would be for Kate.
Thomas Alcock, he lived northeast of Whitstable. He's got that certain something that the girls find irresistible. He's a fine upstanding fella, and they say for what it's worth, his mother was frightened by a donkey 6 months before his birth. And when the midwife heaved him out, the first thing she could seize on, it wasn't his arm, it wasn't his leg, and I guess that's the reason why he's the man with the biggest plonker in the world. He keeps it in his trousers tightly curled. It's a yard and a half if it's an inch, and it's more when it's unfurled. He's the man with the biggest plonker in the world. John Thomas Alcock. At school the kids all gathered round and said, "Please tell us, what is that behind you trailing on the ground?" He said it was a python and it had got the mumps. He stuffed it in his ear and said, "I am a petrol pump." He stuffed it down his wellies and the teacher said, "Now John, you'll have to stay behind when all the other kids have gone." And that's what's known as further education. But you don't get a certificate for it. Because he was the one and only, the man, talking about the man with the biggest plonker in the world. He keeps it in his trousers tightly curled. It's a yard and a half if it's an inch, and it's more when it's unfurled. He's the man with the biggest plonker in the world. John Thomas Alcock, he grew up and he went to sea, modelling for masts and for chimneys for the Admiralty. And then he got married and he had 5 kids, and it comes as no surprise, he's got a lovely wife with a rather strange expression in her eyes. She just stands there and goes, bah, wah, wah, wah. And it's hardly surprising, because she's married to the one and only, the man, the one and only man, a very extraordinary man, the man with the biggest plonker in the world. He keeps it in his trousers tightly curled. It's a yard and a half if it's an inch, and it's more when it's unfurled. He's the man with the biggest plonker in the world. John Thomas Alcock, he died. Oh yes he did, and because of rigor mortis they couldn't shut the coffin lid. And now he's up in heaven and his kids are very proud to see their daddy's dongler dangling through the clouds. And when it's dark and midnight you can hear the ladies sigh and whistle when the ghost of old John Tom goes slithering by, dragging his enormous equipment behind him. Because they know that he is the man with the biggest plonker in the world. He keeps it in his trousers tightly curled. It's a yard and a half if it's an inch, and it's more when it's unfurled. He's the man with the biggest plonker. What an enormous stunker. He's the man with the biggest plonker in the world. Give it to me 1 time. Give it to me 2 times. Give it to me 3 times. Fearless Phil, give me a great big finish. Ivors, ladies and gentlemen. Ivors Jivers, the Wonder Band.